Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and Duke have ever represented the Coastal Division in the ACC title game. Tonight, first place in the Coastal Division is up for grabs as Pitt and North Carolina square off to open up our Thursday night doubleheader on ESPN. Major matchup in the ACC this weekend. To get your college football weekend started off, we've got first place in the Coastal Division on the line. A pair of 6-1 teams in North Carolina and Pitt. North Carolina's only loss to South Carolina this year. Pitt's only loss is to currently unbeaten Iowa. Both of these teams are unbeaten in ACC play. Both teams yet to play Duke as we begin the eliminator in the Coastal Division as we get towards the end of October. And with that, we welcome you to the broadcast booth. Adam Amin, Kelly Stauffer, Marty Smith will join us in a moment as well. Clemson is the clear-cut clubhouse leader right now in the Atlantic Division. But in the Coastal, this is the time of year where the games start to mean that much more. Big triad going on right now with Pitt, North Carolina, and Duke.
You know, I knew we had a really good matchup, but you start looking at the heavy lifting that both of these teams have down the road. This is a critical game for both squads here this evening.
Let's talk about culture change a little bit. You don't hear about that in the Steel City. They have their identity, but they needed a new one here in Pittsburgh. For more on that, for the first time, we're proud to join Marty Smith.
Adam, good evening. When Pat Narduzzi walked on the Pittsburgh campus as its new football head coach, he met with every single player on the roster, from the most established starter to the last walk-on on that roster. He wanted to know, how do I improve this program? Interestingly enough, most of those young men said, game pants. More on that in just a second. Narduzzi went to work hard to put $4 million worth of capital upgrades into the Pittsburgh facilities. That showed those young men he cared, that he loved them, and that he was fully committed to them as people and players. Alas, he could not get them what they wanted most, game pants. They're ordered a year out, Adam.
What's pretty interesting, Marty, Pat Narduzzi could not deliver game pants, but what he could deliver is these kind of defensive numbers. Exactly the same scheme that was successful at Michigan State. They're already well on their way. They'll get more Jimmys and Joes in this program, but those numbers are terrific early in this program.
Pat Narduzzi has changed the Pitt defense. Meanwhile, North Carolina needed to make a change in defense, and when you bring in a former head coach that has a national championship ring, the players' ears start to perk up when this guy talks.
Yeah, head coach Larry Fedora told us this, that Gene Chizik was here to restore confidence on the defensive side of the ball. And you know what he did at it is he simplified things. He said, let's play simple so we can play fast and restore that confidence, and those numbers reflect a bunch of players playing with a bunch of confidence.
Well, these defenses are going to have to stop some offensive studs. Tyler Boyd for Pittsburgh is going to be an NFL wide receiver, and Marquis Williams is on his way to becoming the most prolific offensive player in Tar Heel history.
Yeah, Marquis Williams is known to be a slow starter. He cannot start slow tonight. And Tyler Boyd, quite frankly, is the best player that we're going to see on the team tonight. An NFL caliber receiver. Number 23 will be moved completely around the field to try to create matchups. We'll see how North Carolina handles that this evening.
There is Marquis Williams, responsible in his career for 76 touchdowns, 3 shy of tying the North Carolina record. Larry Fedora, in his 4th season as the North Carolina head coach after 4 very good years at Southern Miss. Like Pat Narduzzi, a long-time assistant, 22 years as an assistant before he got his first head coaching job. Pat Narduzzi in his first season after a quarter of a century as an assistant. North Carolina won the toss. They deferred, and Tyler Boyd will touch the ball. One of the electric return men of the ACC. Nick Weiler will kick away for the Tar Heels, and off we go with first place in the Coastal Division on the line tonight. A step into the driver's seat towards the ACC title game, and Tyler Boyd stacked up right at the 15-yard line, and that's where Pittsburgh will start up on offense this evening. 6 of their 7 games have been decided by 1 score, including 5 of their 6 wins, and they've done it through a quarterback change. Chad Voitek started the first 2, but the transfer from Tennessee, Nate Peterman, has been very good the last 5.
And Adam, Nate Peterman is in there for 2 reasons: his decision-making and also his accuracy at throwing the football.
109 passes without an interception. The last pick he threw, first quarter, he threw 2 against Iowa in week 3. Hasn't thrown one since. That was the only Pitt loss this year. On first down, it is a give to Quadri Olison, who has really stepped into the shoes left by James Conner. Last year's ACC Offensive Player of the Year. He picks up 9 yards, the redshirt freshman out of New York. Pitt has a very solid rushing attack, even despite not having James Conner. or Rashid Ibrahim, who tore his Achilles in camp. So they were without their top 2 guys, and Olesen has stepped in nicely. ACC running back of the week, as a matter of fact, after his game at Syracuse last week. 2nd down and 1, back to Olesen. North Carolina has had trouble stopping the run this season. They've given up 2 rushes for a 1st down.
And Olesen, Adam, is a redshirt freshman, and he's a big guy. He's going to put on a lot more weight as he gets into the weight room here at Pitt, but he's had to learn how to be a big back. It's okay that you're a heavy back. Learn to run behind your pads. Sometimes he gets a little bit too high. He's 6'2", 230 pounds.
Averaging about 5.5 yards per pop. 1st down and 10. They fake to Boyd, now pass to Boyd. They use him in a lot of different ways. And Tyler Boyd gets ripped down by Shaquille Rashad, one of the top defensive players for North Carolina. Boyd has more catches than anybody in Pittsburgh history. He's closing in on the all-time yardage mark.
And Adam, you said fake to Boyd, throw to Boyd, and that's what we're going to see tonight. Pitt is a very run-heavy team, but they want to find touches for number 3, Tyler Boyd. He's an NFL-type guy, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a special player, and those kind of players, you want them to get the football, particularly in space.
Boyd working in the slot as they give it to Olesen, running it left, and he gets jarred out of bounds by DeAndre Smith.
We saw Jim Chaney, and what he is known for is not only the downhill physical run game, which you know that Pat Narduzzi wanted to see on the offensive side of the ball in this program, but it's also learning your players and getting the most out of your guys the quickest, and that is what we're seeing out of Pitt offensively this season.
3rd down and long coming up here. There is Tyler Boyd lined up towards the bottom of the formation. Well protected. Peterman with plenty of time. Throwing over the middle, and he's got a 1st down to Zach Challingsworth. Just the 4th catch of the redshirt sophomore's career, but it moves the chains into Tar Heel territory.
And remember where Boyd is on the field, because Boyd actually releases and goes on the fade. Clear down here at the bottom. Go ahead and let it roll right now, guys. And then Challingsworth is coming from the opposite side, sets into that void that was created by the vertical, by Tyler Boyd right there on that play.
Jim Chaney wants to get other guys involved. That's a nice way to do it, using Boyd as a decoy. It's a fake to James. It's a keeper for Peterman, and he gets wrapped up and brought down quickly in the backfield by Jesse Rogers. And Miles is there, the safety. Donnie Miles, the leading tackler on this North Carolina defense.
Adam, the challenge for Nate Peterman today is going to be exactly what you just said. If North Carolina is successful at taking away number 23 Boyd, you have to work through your progression and get to 2-3, and even your check down receiver is number 4.
Tyler Boyd in the slot to the left. Gene Chizik said we have to find 23 on every play. 2nd down and 10. 10th play of the drive is a strike over the middle for Boyd, and a 1st down inside the 30-yard line, down to the 27 in front of Donnie Miles. 19 yards, another catch for Boyd.
Well, North Carolina, I believe, is targeting number 23, but they're simply not doing a very good job of covering him. And that was just a kind of a release. Remember what was going on in the backfield, kind of that play-action pass game off of a physical downhill run game that we haven't even seen much today. You invite those second-level defenders up, and you throw behind them to Boyd right there.
4th catch for Tyler Boyd. This is a give to the sophomore out of Chicago, Chris James, and he gets wrapped up by Schottmer and brought down immediately. Jeff Schottmer is the Mike linebacker, the 2nd leading tackler for this team. Was dealing with a bit of a back issue in the pregame, but the coaching staff wanted to see how he felt. Apparently good enough to be out there. He's hard to miss with that Clay Matthews flow.
Yeah, he's a little banged up, but a very good player in the middle, very consistent. And then you have Rashid outside that may be the best player on the defensive side, and then the youngster at Collins, the other linebacker there. 3 really good linebackers for Chizik's defense.
12th play of the drive. 4-man rush, Peterman over the middle, and it is caught by Dontez Ford. The former Syracuse Orange makes the grab. A big play threat run out of bounds by Lawrence and Miles. 3rd down coming up here. Much more makeable situation now.
What you already see out of North Carolina defensively, Adam, is what they call building structure. They don't build a lot of pressure elements in their defense right now, as you can tell by only 6 sacks on the year, but a lot of zone defense on the other end, and you're forcing an offense to methodically drive the football in order to get points. Pitt is doing that right now.
13th play of the drive. They've converted on 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 13. Peterman on the release, throwing it to the edge, and just not much there for Olesen as he gets run down immediately by Des Lawrence, and that will bring up 4th down. The field goal kicker for Pitt has been very good, especially the last couple of weeks. Chris Blewett with game-winning field goals against Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago and against Syracuse last week. He's now 9 of 13 on the season, a guy who bounced back after a really bad stretch last year midway through the season. His 25-yarder last week at the Horn beat Syracuse. This one will be from 44 yards. And Blewett is able to angle it through. Last week, a 19-play drive by Pitt to set up the game-winning field goal for Blewett. This time over 8 minutes off the clock, a 13-play drive and a 3-0 lead. Two teams unbeaten in ACC play thus far. First place in the Coastal on the line tonight. North Carolina's won 6 in a row. Pitt off to a 6-1 start as well, and 4-0 in ACC play. How about this? Well-balanced drive. 6 runs, 7 passes, and then the 44-yarder from Blewett.
Yeah, balance and then get it to Tyler Boyd, right? That's the name of the game. Yep. Physical run, and then find number 23. Nate Peterman was 7 out of 7, and 4 completions were to Boyd, and very good job of finding 23.
TJ Logan has 2 career kick returns for touchdowns, but he'll be driven back and forced to take a knee. And the Tar Heels will come out to the 25-yard line. And since losing 17-13 to South Carolina in their opener, they've won 6 in a row with some impressive numbers from a veteran offensive unit. Marquis Williams, the great dual threat quarterback, at the forefront, trying to avoid a slow start though tonight. Yeah,
I think that is certainly the key, Adam. And Williams has to get off to a good start. And the way you do that is realize what scheme you play in. It's about ball distribution. There isn't really a go-to guy. You have running backs that can handle it. Chief among them is Elijah Hood. Just distribute the football.
It will be Hood that starts in the backfield next to Williams in a 3-receiver set. And here is Hood with a big burst right up the middle, running into the freshman safety Jordan Whitehead. He picks up 9 on that first play. Hood, the sophomore, 2 straight 100-yard games for this year overall, including 138 against South Carolina in the opener. Coming off 101 and 2 touchdowns in short yardage against Virginia last week. Second down 1, designed run for Williams, and he's got the first down with a block from Hood. He steps out of bounds out across the 40.
And that's what Williams brings to the table, is an extra hat that you have to have in the run game because of the ability for Williams to run the football. That was a designed quarterback counter with Elijah Hood blocking for the quarterback.
They'll call it the +1 running game with the quarterback for North Carolina. Redshirt senior out of Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte. After the 11-yard run, a play action. He gets drilled, but got rid of the football outside to Ryan Switzer. Very quick, speedy wide receiver. He can do a lot of different things in this offense. Williams had to take a shot, though, for 17 yards.
Yeah, and certainly Pitt is going to try to get to Williams on plays like this, but Williams does the right thing, gets the ball off on time, and then Switzer is a make-you-miss type of guy out in space.
From the 38 of Pitt, zone read, and Williams putting his right shoulder down out across the 35-yard line. Solid run there for Williams, who's closing in on becoming just the 5th ACC quarterback to run for 2,000 yards. It's a pretty impressive list behind him. Josh Nesbitt, Tyrod Taylor, Woody Dantzler, the great Clemson quarterback, Tevin Washington out of Georgia Tech, and Marquis Williams has now put his name up in the record books with those 4 outstanding dual threat guys. Veteran offensive line, a lot of weapons, and a veteran quarterback. That's what this Tar Heel offense looks like. They give it to the youngster, the sophomore Hood, and he's got the first down to the 27. tackled by Whitehead, the freshman safety.
And that's what we're going to see out of North Carolina offensively. They're a veteran bunch. We talked about Williams, but they have a plethora of wide receivers that can get it done. We've already seen Switzer in the slot, and then the running backs can carry it. And then, oh, by the way, they add lightning tempo to everything they do as well when they're in the flow of the game.
TJ Logan checks into the backfield with Williams. And here is Logan. And TJ Logan gets dragged down by Whitehead, yards after contact, and he's got the first down. The junior out of Greensboro has a score in each of the last 2 games.
And TJ Logan is the change of pace type of guy, a much more speed type of element when Logan is in there versus Hood.
6th run out of 7 plays for North Carolina. It is Logan putting his right shoulder into that pile. Short gain inside the 15-yard line. North Carolina, 64% of the time they get into the red zone, they score a touchdown at a decent rate for an offense that's ranked 16th in the country, tied for first in the ACC with Clemson, averaging 38 a game so far this year. Second down 8. Williams is going to take a shot to the end zone for Switzer, and he was out of bounds when he was getting his hands on the football. Couldn't corral it anyway. Pat Amara, the sophomore safety, in coverage, and a big 3rd down coming up here.
And this is where you see where Williams has some room to improve. That ball was late. Switzer ran a great route, a corner route, off of a smash throw concept, and he just ran to the corner, and that ball was late.
Pitt does not have a red zone stop. They've only allowed 14 trips into the red zone this year, but they do not have a stop this year. Chance for it on 3rd and 8. Four-man rush. Screen for Hood. And Hood trying to get close to the sticks, and he was shoved out shy. Mike Caprara, an outside linebacker, ran him down. It's going to set up 4th down and 3. And does Larry Fedora's offense stay out there right now? Now the kicking unit's finally going to come on as the decision's been made.
Well, Pitt, like you talked about, Adam, finds a way to get off the field in the red zone. That's news in itself, but very good job. North Carolina has gotten their yards between the 20s, but you have to shore up defense down in the red zone, and Pitt does it right here.
Nick Weiler, the junior, has been very good so far. 10 of 12. This from 25 to tie the game up at 3 apiece. Solid stop by Pitt. Same thing from North Carolina first drive. Both teams a touch, both teams a field goal here in the first. Steel City, 2.5 million people, and they're still filing in for this first place matchup in the Coastal. 4-0 Pitt, 3-0 North Carolina, meeting for the 10th time all time. North Carolina comeback a season ago in Chapel Hill. Weiler will kick it away for North Carolina, and Tyler Boyd will bobble and be forced to take a knee. First down at 10. It's Olesen diving ahead for a couple yards. Marty Smith down on the sidelines. Jeff Schottmer is the main Mike linebacker for this North Carolina defense.
Yes, Adam. Jeff Schottmer, the middle linebacker. He enters this game with a bit of a nagging leg injury. I spoke with some of the staff before the game, and they told me if there's one human being on earth who would play through a nagging injury, it's your guy number 10 out there in the middle with the wily mane. Now, I was over at the Carolina bench after they came off the field after the last Pittsburgh possession, and after he got done speaking with his coaches, he went right to the stationary bike and stayed the rest of the Carolina possession on that bike. So he's trying to keep that leg nice and warm.
He's in on this tackle on 2nd down and 7. It'll bring up about 3rd and a yard and a half. He's the 2nd leading tackler for the Tar Heels. He has 4 tackles for loss on the season, making his 32nd career start. This was in the pregame, trying to stretch out a little bit.
And very important in what Gene Chizik designs defensively. He's the middle linebacker, so he's the communication guy on that side of the ball, and he's also very consistent and very physical, which North Carolina needs tonight, Adam, against Pitt's desire to run the ball down the hill.
Former walk-on who came to North Carolina as a 185-pound safety. Olesen's ran for 38 yards so far. This time it'll be Peterman on the sneak, pushing ahead across the 45, and should have enough for the first down. This is what Pitt has done really well the last couple of games, extending drives, keeping drives alive, and grinding teams down.
And that's exactly who Jim Chaney is offensively, as the play caller is, you know, a physical run game, play action pass game. They're going to we've seen they're going to create touches for number 23, but they're not opposed to grinding it out. Time of possession means something to Pitt.
Tyler Boyd bottom of the formation. They'll keep it on the ground, though, with Olesen. And he got tripped up by Shaquille Rashad in the backfield, the senior linebacker, who had a great game last week in their win over Virginia. A career-high 10 tackles and an interception. Might be the best defensive player out there.
Yeah, and you put him next to Schottmer, we've already talked about, and then they have a youngster, Collins, on the other side. Those three guys together are tough at that second level.
Opening quarter is through. 3-3. North Carolina and Pitt battling for first place in the ACC Coastal tonight. Front end of our great Thursday night doubleheader in Pittsburgh. College football primetime on ESPN, ACC on ESPN, as we get set for the start of the second quarter between North Carolina and Pittsburgh. And second down and 9 for Pitt. An extended opening drive and a solid drive thus far as it's thrown out to the sideline for George Aston, his 4th catch of the season. I think the Big 12 is probably the conference that sticks out in terms of November being the eliminator. The ACC Coastal, certainly some big games in the SEC coming up as well.
Yeah, Ohio State and Michigan State have to play. Ohio State and Michigan has to play as well. So it's going to be interesting, and that's the way November should be, especially in the age of the college football playoff. It should come down to this month.
Let's give a high five to the schedule makers in those conferences, right? And to our fine folks here on ESPN. 3rd down and 9. 4-man rush on 3rd down. Peterman firing over the middle and incomplete. Was seeking Zach Challingsworth, who already has a 3rd down conversion catch in this game. First incompletion for Peterman on 9 passes, and it's 4th down near midfield.
Yeah, and 3rd in a passing down is not where Pitt wants to make a living, and Jim Chaney told us that as well. They're very good when they stay on schedule, but they have a hard time converting when it's a sure passing down, and they don't have dynamic guys other than Boyd in that pass game.
Ryan Winslow has been great punting the football as of late. Ryan Switzer has been one of the best return men in NCAA history on punts, but a very good hang time for Winslow, forcing a fair catch after a 40-yard punt. Marquis Williams, one of the most prolific offensive players in Tar Heel history, coming back up when you come back. We're in Pittsburgh tonight. Here is Hood hurling and getting knocked down from behind. Ran right into Matt Galambos and Bam Bradley, aptly named linebacker, 3 yards. There is Bam, the redshirt junior, on the outside. His brother is Nicholas Grigsby, number 3. They both play outside backer for this Pittsburgh defense. Off play action, pressure coming. Williams stays on his feet. Flags are thrown. Open man is Switzer. He's got it inside the 30. He'll beat Panamara to the end zone, but we'll have to check the penalty marker back at the 20-yard line. A 71-yard strike to Switzer.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense, number 52. The penalty be assessed on the succeeding kickoff. Results of the play. Touchdown.
You
Yeah,
nailed
you're
it. It was
exactly
Soto.
right. It was Soto. I just got my teams messed up on the big play, but it's the physical ability by Williams. He's a big quarterback at 6'2", 225, gets away from it and finds Switzer way down the field.
See swinging gate here. They're not going to go Indianapolis Colts on this particular special teams play. So Weiler will step on to try to add the extra point. Longest play from scrimmage this season. A 71-yard touchdown with Williams keeping his feet and finding that big play threat. Ryan Switzer for the 2nd longest touchdown of Switzer's career. This guy is the Wes Welker type. That's what the coaching staff told us. You can move him. You can move him around into any spot on the field, and he can beat you over the top. He just did to Pitt.
And welcome back to Pittsburgh. And North Carolina just came up with a huge play. We can see Ryan Switzer right in the middle of the screen right there highlighted, and it's about the quarterback Williams extending the play, and then Switzer gets clear across the field in that man-to-man coverage. You can see him right there again in the middle of the screen, the middle of the trips receive, or the trip set, and then the move outside and then the post, but it was the quarterback Williams extending the play that made that one right there.
Got away from a face mask from Shakir Soto, still stayed on his feet. And one of the more athletic players on this North Carolina team found one of the other more athletic players on the North Carolina team. That face mask penalty was assessed on the kickoff. That's why the ball is lined up at the 50. And it's an easy touchback for Wiley. There is Tyler Boyd. He's got 4 catches already on 4 targets in this game. From the 25, and they will give it to Boyd on the end around. Stays on his feet despite Des Lawrence trying to trip him up, and turns it into about a 5-yard gain. Boyd very good in all 3 facets. He can pass the ball too, he can run it, he can catch it.
Yeah, and what we're seeing early is just a classic case of trying to build touches for the best player on the field, quite frankly. But Gene Chizik from North Carolina, their defensive coordinator, told us just that. They have all kinds of ways to try to double him inside and out, and certainly in the run game they're going to be aware of Tyler Boyd as well.
That's Des Lawrence who gets the assignment on press coverage here against Boyd. Trying to guard Boyd, who's going on the outside on a double move, and there is Tyler Boyd ripping it away from Lawrence for a first down at the 42-yard line. 5 catches, that one his best for 16 yards.
Well, Nate Peterman is doing a great job of finding number 23 regardless of the coverage. Des Lawrence has coverage underneath, and watch Boyd get both feet down. You can see the protection by Donnie Mills, 15 over the top. Des Lawrence underneath in the man-to-man coverage. He has help deep as well, but it's about snatching the football at the end, and Boyd keeping his feet in as well.
Fake the pitch. Peterman rolling out, and he finds J.P. Holtz, a very good pass-catching tight end, has a first down near the 35-yard line, brought down by Schottmer.
Pitt loves to use their tight ends. You'll see the fake pitch right there, and then Holtz is just blocking down, and J.P. Holtz gets out into the flat. That's a great use of the tight end. They block in the run game. He blocks down initially, does J.P. Holtz, and then gets out into the flat.
Jim Chaney has 2 good pass-catching tight ends in the red zone, Holtz and Orndorff. Scott Orndorff feels like a Michigan State influence there with Pat Narduzzi. First down and 10. Peterman with a very clean pocket and a deep throw for Boyd, and a great pass breakup by Des Lawrence. He's been beaten already tonight. That time Lawrence comes up clutch. Just the 2nd incompletion for Peterman on 13 passes.
You talked about it. A great play by Des Lawrence at the end. And quite frankly, Des Lawrence makes a better play on the football, does Tyler Boyd. And Nate Peterman, as the quarterback, is hoping that Boyd will plant his feet and go back up and get a rebound right there. And quite frankly, Des Lawrence outplayed Tyler Boyd on that play.
Redshirt, or rather just true junior from Charlotte, out of Charlotte Christian, is Lawrence, has 1 pick in his career. Very tough assignment tonight for this North Carolina secondary. 2nd down and 10. Off the edge, Rashad chasing Peterman, who makes the right decision and flings it to the Tar Heel bench. 3rd down and 10 coming up, and there is Rashad right back in the backfield. He's much quicker this year. He dropped 20 pounds to play the Sam linebacker spot.
Yeah, he was getting pressure right there, and it was one of the few times that Gene Chizik brought extra bodies. It was 2nd and 10 that typically is a pass down, and Chizik will bring more like he did right there. And the play action pass in the backfield, Peterman didn't really see that coming to his backside. He's lucky he got rid of that football.
4:05 on 3rd down so far. 3rd and 10 inside of 8 to play for the half. Another long drive, the 10th play of this series. Boyd in motion. Against the 4-man rush, Peterman in the pocket, firing into a tight window, and M.J. Stewart stepped in front to knock that ball down, and Tyler Boyd may have taken a bit of a hit in that tight window.
And Tyler Boyd literally had 3 defenders surrounding him. Watch this at the very end. M.J. Stewart was on the coverage, and then Boyd gets laid into right there, and Rashad, the linebacker we just talked about, number 42, Shaquille Rashad, broke from his flat coverage, saw the pass, and then put the wood to Tyler Boyd.
Boyd a little bit shaky coming off the field as Blewett has already hit from 44. This one will be from 53. Chris Blewett trying to curl it in, and it looked like it sailed on him a little bit. It ends up wide to the left, no good. Heinz Field, a traditionally tough stadium to kick in for kickers. And there is Tyler Boyd, who took a shot on that third down play, getting tended to on the sideline. Carolina still up 7. Unseasonably warm day in Pittsburgh. The weather was gorgeous. North Carolina with a 10-3 lead in this matchup of first-place teams in the ACC Coastal. After the missed field goal, Carolina starts this drive from the 35-yard line. Short gain for Hood. Down to Marty Smith for more on Tyler Boyd.
Adam, Tyler Boyd sitting by himself on the Pittsburgh bench right now. They are tending to his mouth. He has a bloody mouth. They're using gauze to dab that blood out of his mouth right now. He's speaking with trainers. Coach Narduzzi came over to check on him, pat him on the back. He seems like he'll be all right.
Thanks very much, Marty. 2nd down and 7 here. We saw that bloody lip after that big hit from Rashad at the end of that third down play. Williams 4 of 5 on the game so far, taking his 2nd shot deep down the sideline, and Bug Howard extending out with Lafayette Pitts in coverage. Could not corral it, and it brings up 3rd down and 7.
And that's quintessential Pat Narduzzi defense right there. And what they do is, it's called press quarters. They press their corners up tight, and they force quarterbacks to try to make a low percentage throw, which the outside vertical fade is exactly that.
Play clock down to 4. Pittsburgh showing heat, and they bring 5. Williams stands and throws strong, and it's Quinshot Davis inside Pitt territory, and he has just set the North Carolina record for most catches in a career. That's the 182nd of his stellar North Carolina tenure. He's got the touchdown grab for North Carolina in this game. From the 33-yard line, and a big burst for Elijah Hood. He's got another 1st down run, this down to the 22-yard line, tackled by Maddox.
And then lightning tempo, what we see after a positive play.
First time we've really seen the tempo start to pick up for the Tar Heels here. Zone read, good job on the mesh point there by Hood to take it inside the 20 and keep those feet moving. Ball comes out loose, but he was already ruled down right at the 15-yard line. He picks up 7 more yards.
Elijah Hood is a physical run finisher, and we saw it on that play. 6 foot, 220 pounds, and he keeps it, his legs churning. And as a year ago, as a true freshman, he couldn't create his own yards, but he's doing a very good job of it, particularly on that play.
2nd down 3, it's Hood again. Turning the corner and got chopped down by Whitehead in the open field, a yard shy of the line to gain, and that sets up 3rd down and 1. Already 8 carries, averaging nearly 6 per pop. Big 3rd down and 1 here. It's Hood again, and he's able to slip a tackle, got stacked up by Galambos. Did he get enough to move the chains he needed at the 12-yard line?
And Pitt thinks that ball came out as well. Elijah Hood is a physical guy and stuck his nose up in there. Wasn't much of a push, and I think they're going to call this 4th down, and North Carolina is still in possession of it.
Officials timeout here from Jeff Heiser.
Elijah Wood is working
on the
overtime.
Field is a fumble recovered by the offense. 4th down.
It looked like he did lose the football before he went down, stripped out by Bam Bradley. But right there was Brandon Fritz, 82, the redshirt freshman. Larry Fedora is going to opt for Nick Weiler to kick a 31-yard try after being good from 25 already in this game. A solid angle on that kick to get North Carolina points, and a 10-point lead with 5 to play here in the first half.
Full timeout on the field.
Elijah Hood still getting tended to on the sideline. 13-3, North Carolina has the lead. Looked like maybe they added a knee pad or another pad to the left side, left leg of Elijah Hood on the sideline there. Had a chance to see him during the break. Ended up fumbling the football. North Carolina had to settle for a field goal, and Tyler Boyd back to return, led the ACC in kick return average a season ago. 45 career kick returns, no touchdowns. Does have a punt return for a score in his career. Kicking towards the Rivers, and a boomer for Weiler. Pitt to the 25. Peterman on first down, swinging it out for Chris James, and the sophomore out of Chicago, with a strong catch and run out across the 30 to the 33-yard line.
Needless to say, Pitt needs something out of their offense currently. They've been able to drive the football, but they haven't been able to convert on those pass downs. Not finishing drives is the name of the game right now for Pitt.
Tyler Boyd is back out there, as Marty Smith told you. Had to get some gauze into his mouth, has the mouthpiece in as well after he came off the field after the last drive with a bloody lip. After took a pretty solid hit, and he lines up in the backfield here. Gets the fake over the middle. It's Dontez Ford, and the ball is loose near the 37-yard line, and the Tar Heels may have it, and they do. Donnie Miles, one of the top tacklers on this team.
Was a completed catch, fumbled, recovered by the defense. First down.
Junior Nankande with the fumble recovery after Miles, that hard hitter from the safety spot, punched it loose.
Dontez Ford runs the slant, and then Donnie Mills breaks it up. Miles put his hat and shoulder pad right on the football. Exactly the way you're supposed to do it.
No Hood on the field right now for North Carolina. It is TJ Logan who gets the fake. And Williams looking downfield and deep. And he's got Singleton, but it's incomplete. Kendrick Singleton, the senior tight end, plays that Eric Ebron role. Good coverage by the safety Whitehead.
Yeah, and a flex tight end or a stand-up tight end, whatever you want to call him. He's really a hybrid. He's a big wide receiver, but he was the in man on the line of scrimmage right there, ran a great route, and made a very poor effort on the football. That was well thrown by Williams.
Williams, he's got that release. This is part of the design of this play. He's got options on this particular play, and he runs it up the middle. A strong second down run for 6.
Yeah, and a first down incompletion results in a second down maintenance run by your quarterback. Very effective by North Carolina right there.
3rd down and 5. Pat Narduzzi's teams, or at least his Michigan State teams, were good blitzing teams. This Pitt team for Pat Narduzzi blitzes a lot more than the Pitt of old. Well, they're only going to rush 4 on 3rd down and 5. Trying to play coverage, and on the slant, it is caught. Mac Hollins, the big play Tar Heel, takes it in for a touchdown. 32-yard strike, and Williams has touched the ball 4 times. The Tar Heels have scored all 4 times.
We hear so much about quarters coverage, and people have a zone thought when they hear quarters coverage, but press quarters simply means that based on the route running, it turns into 0 man probably 75% of the time, and that's what it was right there. In the end, it was a very big play by Mac Hollins running in the end zone, and he beat Maddox on the coverage.
The team-leading 6th touchdown reception for Mac Hollins, a junior out of Rockville, Maryland.
And Hollins is up at the top, and when he starts vertically, it basically becomes man-to-man coverage on Avonte Maddox. And then he breaks the in route, and there's nobody there because the safeties have been run off with man-to-man coverage as well because of the inside receivers. Very well thrown and very well designed.
It's a 20-3 Carolina lead. Pat Narduzzi at halftime. Land Rover halftime report to Adnan and the boys.
Coach, first, what was your message to the referee right there?
Give us a chance. I mean, there was a holding call down there, but, you know, I'm not going to talk about the officials right now. It's more about what we're doing, not what they're doing. We didn't make enough plays on defense. We're not converting on offense. We got to make some plays in the second half.
Let's talk defense quickly first. Carolina's moving it up and down the field really well. From your perspective over there, what must change to slow them down?
We got to get more penetration up front. We're not making enough plays inside. And then, you know, they got a couple things on us schematically in the passing game. Really, first series they drove it down the field on us running the ball, but after that we've gotten, you know, a little bit better at the run game, but we got to be better in the pass game as well.
Coach, thank you so much.
Which currently has North Carolina in front by 17 at the halftime break. Tar Heels ball to start half number 2. And a battle for first place in the Coastal Division of the ACC. Adam Amin, Kelly Stauffer, Marty Smith as well. Pitt ran 13 more plays, trails by 17 points. How's it happen?
Yeah, Pitt did really everything they wanted to do except score points, right? They possessed the football. They had many plays. They don't have the explosiveness to overcome mistakes, and that's what we saw in the first half.
Tar Heel ball to start half number 2. And a quick return out for the Heels from Mike Hughes. Take it out across the 20-yard line.
Marquis Williams also had the big touchdown to Hollins as well, and that's what you see out of North Carolina, Adam. They don't need a lot of plays if you have explosive plays, and that's what we saw out of that group in the first half.
Larry Fedora was hoping Marquis Williams could avoid the cold start. He has 7 picks this year. 5 of them came in the first half so far, but very clean opening half of play. And Elijah Hood, who sat out a good chunk of the second quarter, but it would seem to be a leg injury. He is back in the game as North Carolina starts from the 26. Design run. Williams short gain down to Marty Smith.
Guys, I did have the opportunity to chat with North Carolina head coach Larry Fedora. As you have stated, he noted how vital it was that Marquis Williams get off fast and have a very quick start to this game. He's very pleased with Williams' decision-making. Also, the physicality on defense, he noted. He said that was a point of emphasis this week, and they knew if they were going to win this game, they had to play that physically on defense.
We've seen it a lot. 3 sacks for a team that doesn't pressure a whole lot. Swing it out to the side for Quinshot Davis, who earlier tonight set the new North Carolina record for career receptions. 183 now, 42nd career start for Quinshot Davis.
And a big-bodied receiver, 6'4", 215. And Williams did a great job that time, Adam. Started on the left side of the field, comes all the way back and finds Davis on the right side.
Big 3rd down and 3 for Pitt's defense here. Nerves in this Pittsburgh crowd right now as the Panthers bring a blitz. Grigsby applying the pressure, and over the middle it is incomplete. Looking for Singleton, and there was Grigsby who put Williams on his back. Good pressure that time from the outside linebacker.
And Pitt was playing a game down below on that edge to the left side, and Grigsby comes up free after a stunt up inside, and Williams makes a nice play. Avoids initially, gets the pass off, but Grigsby led to an errant throw.
Corbin Daly to kick to Avonte Maddox. Handles a low snap. Pressure is there. It is blocked. Adam Berkey scoops it up. Make it Davis, Jamal Davis scooping it up for Pitt. Quinton Orginis with the block. And that looked like a Pat Narduzzi special teams unit.
In a tremendous way to get back in the game. Design a punt block, and this was actually designed in the first half based on what Pitt saw, and they break the contain right there and actually split that shield right up the middle. Very well done.
Excellent field position at the 15, and here comes James. Strong run, grabbed at the ankles and brought down quickly by Donnie Miles after a 5-yard gain. They needed an explosive play, and Quinton Orginis, the sophomore out of Pittsburgh, got a little more physical this season, a little faster, and Pat Narduzzi, one of the first guys over there to give him a hug after he gets the block. Davis scooped it. Now it's 2nd and 5 at the 10. James again. Short gain, 3rd down coming up. This has to be, it feels like, Kelly, feels like it has to be a touchdown for Pitt if they want to stay in this
I
game.
knew where you were going with that, and absolutely right. We saw so many plays out of Pitt in the first half, and they drove the ball at times, but they weren't explosive enough to overcome mistakes in order to get points, and they need points desperately right here.
See that red zone percentage, not very good. The touchdown percentage is pedestrian. 16 out of 26 red zone trips coming in were touchdowns. That's it. 4-man rush. Peterman Gets grabbed, stays on his feet, and then gets brought down by Justin Thomason. His first sack of the season comes at a clutch time.
And this sack is because of really good coverage on the back end. There was a receiver going to the back of the end zone, and eventually Thomason gets the pressure right there, and Peterman goes down a little bit strangely, and he's fortunate he didn't suffer an injury, but it was very well covered on the back end, and that's the 4th sack for UNC. They only had 6 coming into this evening.
Chris Blewett, good from 44, missed from 53. This one a 29-yarder. They don't get a touchdown, but they come away with points and maybe a little bit of life as well. Pat Narduzzi needed a big play. At the very least, Quentin Morginis able to do it in special teams. Streaking in for the block. Davis was there to scoop it. 3 points out of it. Pat Narduzzi trying to get the energy up in this game. Down 14. Quentin Morginis, young guy who worked his way back from a foot injury that allowed it or forced him to miss his entire senior year of high school. In Fox Chapel High School here in Pittsburgh, able to work back. Now in his sophomore year, gets a block kick, trying to get a little bit of enthusiasm on the Pitt sideline after they went into the half. It's not a whole lot of momentum. Block kick leads to a field goal. The Tar Heels still on top by 2 touchdowns. And TJ Logan, after the drop, picks it up and gets hit right at the 20-yard line. On the 21-yard line, Marquis Williams has been very, very solid. Off the fake. He's got 4 in the pattern and is going to take a shot down the field. Looking for Hollins, and a twisting catch by Mac Hollins, beating Lafayette Pitts. And the Tar Heels' top big play threat comes up again for 49 yards.
And this took tremendous protection up front, and you see it right there by that massive offensive line, a veteran group up front, and then watch the body position, the body control by Hollins on the back end.
Williams, another shot, another look at Hollins, and this time a little bit too far, with Pitts in coverage again being tested.
You know, Adam, this Pitt defense, just like it was with Narduzzi at Michigan State, it's predicated on forcing those low percentage vertical throws outside, believing that quarterbacks at this level can't consistently make those throws, and Williams is getting his fair share here tonight.
Williams to throw again, on the move, and a little bit underthrown, looking for Quinshad Davis. Marquis Williams, look at this, going downfield. He's got 3 big plays in this game, 2 for touchdowns, and then that last 49-yarder to Mac Hollins.
And it's interesting with this offense is they don't run a lot of plays like a Baylor does, where you get, 85 plays a game. They only get probably in the mid-60s, around 67, but it's because they're so explosive. They just go over the top and end drives quickly.
3rd down and 10 here. It looks like they're bringing heat. They're going to bring 6. Big blitz on Williams. Releases to Switzer. And he gets shoved out of bounds right near the sticks by Avonte Maddox, but he's a couple of yards shy at the 22, so it's 4th down and 2.
Adam, you talked about it. Pitt was blitzing, and there was kind of a zone blitz on the back end, but bringing extra bodies. But the veteran Williams gets the ball out quickly enough to Switzer.
Instead, Weiler will come out after the timeout. From 39, be a game long for him. And Weiler, as he has been most of the season, the junior has been rock solid. 3 for 3 tonight, and it is a 3-score lead for North Carolina, set up by another big play from Williams to one of his Tar Heel targets. 49 yards to Hollins. Got him 3 points eventually. Williams got benched midway through the second quarter against Delaware, the 4th game of the year. Was not playing very well in that game. Larry Fedora benched him for Mitch Trubisky. Ever since then, he's been really, really good at quarterback. Tonight, he's been very solid. 217 yards on 11 completions, a couple of touchdowns. Long strike to Hollins, set up another field goal, and it is a 3-score lead for North Carolina. Up 17 as Avonte Maddox has taken over most of the return duties now, with Tyler Boyd stepping aside after he took a couple of hard hits. Out to the 25-yard line will come the Pitt offense. Another good kick by Weiler. First down from the 37. Peterman stepping up. Speed out, and it's caught in Tar Heel territory by J.P. Holtz. That's his third catch of the night so far. That one for 15. Inside of 9 to play. Nate Peterman trying to get going. Recruited to Tennessee by Jim Chaney when he was the offensive coordinator for the Vols. Redshirted in 2012. He did start 2 games between 2013 and 2014, including the Alabama game last year after Justin Worley had that shoulder injury that ended his season. Obviously, Josh Dobbs turned out a fantastic year. He became the starter. You see Peterman lining up as a receiver bottom of the screen. Tyler Boyd going to get the Wildcat carry. And he gets smacked by Donnie Miles after a good first down run. Peterman ends up transferring to Pitt, enrolls in May, going for his MBA, and has taken over since the 3rd game of the year as the starting quarterback.
And remember, Chad, Wojtek was the starter a year ago, and Wojtek is also a very good leader on this team. So when Peterman started, what Pat Narduzzi was concerned about is the chemistry in the locker room when your starting quarterback is no longer starting and he's a leader, but the players respected the fact that Peterman is playing because he's best for the job right now.
2nd down 4. James seeking space. Grabbed by Rashad. About 3rd and 2 coming up here. Big play for Pitt coming up.
And it's interesting, Adam, that we're seeing Chris James a little bit more at the running back position as opposed to Hollison, who's the bigger back. And now we're seeing Hollison come in this 3rd and short situation. But Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator for Pitt, is all about the hot hand. And Chris James has a little more shake about him as well.
See if the big back, Olison, on 3rd down and 3 can churn the yardage out. Toss play. George Aston, the fullback, blocking for him. Got a great kick out block by the right tackle, Brian O'Neill, the redshirt freshman. And that sprung Olison for 10 yards and a first down.
The right tackle, Brian O'Neill, pulls, as well as George Ashton, the fullback. It's power around the outside off the toss. And if your 2 guys out on the edge get their blocks, obviously there's going to be room to run. That's one of the first times we've seen linemen pull and the point of attack was outside as opposed to between the tackles.
First down and long. Shot position for Peterman. Releases to Holtz. And Holtz gets taken out by a submarining Des Lawrence, so they pick up all that penalty yardage back, and it'll set up 2nd and 10. Pitt has an identity still. Jim Chaney told us it's still typical Pitt football. You want to be able to run the football 80% of the time, probably. They're usually running left behind the big Biznawadi and Johnson tandem. They're going a lot to the right now.
8 of 9, 2nd down. 9.
Tonight, 27 passes, 27 runs for Pitt. Fake to Boyd. Peterman over the middle, and it's underthrown short for James, who had released out of the backfield. 3rd down and 10.
And James, out of the backfield position, was trying to get up the hash in that seam route, and just one more play to try to get the football down the field. And obviously North Carolina knows where number 23 Tyler Boyd is. Rotating coverage to him, you have to find other places to go with the football.
What do you think here, Kel? Are you looking at 4-down territory right now for Pitt, down 2 scores, or is it still too early?
I think it's still too early. I think a field goal here would be fine. Obviously a touchdown is what that man right there, Jim Chaney, wants.
Down 17. I think I said 14. My apologies. It is a 3-score game at this point. 3rd down and 10. Peterman, long out route looking for Boyd. And how do those hands make catches like that? With MJ Stewart draped all over him, Boyd makes the grab. Just his 3rd catch since the end of the 1st quarter, where he was very productive.
And Boyd runs really good routes, but probably the best thing he does is right here, catch the football.
In the red zone, here's Pitt, 1st down and 10. Olison the fake. Peterman, slant to Boyd. 1st and goal for Pittsburgh. Tackled by Miles inside the 5-yard line.
A great way to get the 2nd level of coverage to step up is play action pass by pulling a guard, and that's exactly what Pitt did. And then Boyd gets in behind those linebackers at that 2nd level, and Peterman threw a strike to him.
14 yards on that catch. 4 catches in the 1st. Starting to get going now. He's got 8 for the game. 3 tight end look now for Pitt. Here is Olison trying to churn those legs, and Quadri Olison is into the end zone for a much-needed Pitt touchdown.
Well, this is just about how many big bodies can we get in the game and pull them all to the right side. Very good push. And does the ball cross the goal line before the runner is down?
I don't think his feet, or knees rather, ever touched the ground before he crossed. It was close, but it seemed like he just kept moving those legs. It's a strong downhill back, fighting for his 8th touchdown of the season. Blewett adds the extra point. Back down to a 10-point game as Olesen has scored a touchdown in all but one game. The one game he didn't was the loss to Iowa. Marty Smith told you about the energy level of this Pitt team coming out of the halftime break after a pretty sloppy end to their first half. Starting to see that life, that energy for Pat Narduzzi's team in the second half. They had a fourth quarter comeback last week, a rare fourth quarter comeback a week ago. They're down by 10 past the halfway point of the third. That ball is bobbled. It's grabbed by Hughes after Logan bobbled it. He ends up taking the knee in the end zone. You know what that ball? Right now, Duke's 3-0. North Carolina's 3-0. Pitt's 4-0 in the ACC. Battle for first place in the ACC Coastal. And a strong run, spinning Hood to the 37-yard line, or 32-yard line, rather.
It's good to have Elijah Hood back in the game. Remember in the first half, he got banged up a little bit, and he's their physical downhill type of guy that really gives their run game an identity.
The leading rusher, picking up 6 on first down. Another zone read, and a good give by Williams, and there goes Hood. Finally got chopped down by Ryan Lewis, the backup cornerback, after a 24-yard Hood run.
And it was truly a zone read and a very good mesh right there. Look how long Williams rides Hood down into the middle of that line. Creates very good angles for his running back.
UNC starting to turn up the pace a little bit after a couple of good plays. Hood is out after the good run. TJ Logan checks back into the backfield. This time Williams keeps it. Not much there, about 2 yards.
And that was just the changeup. That time the mesh was to the outside with the running back, knowing that Williams is a viable runner of the football up inside as well. He's a big body back at 6'2", 225.
Pat Narduzzi has said that the fourth quarter should be a party for Pittsburgh. We keep talking about the energy level of this team for Pitt. Very lackluster in the first half. And now the Panthers are getting together for what they call a fourth quarter party. They're spraying water. There they go. We'll tell you more about the fourth quarter party on the other side of this break. Pitt's down, and first place is on the line. The Tar Heels have the 10-point lead.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh, and we have a party. As you can see here, the Pittsburgh Panthers have a great time at the outset of the fourth quarter. This all began at the beginning of the season. The Panthers opened against Youngstown State, and at the outset of the fourth quarter, Coach Pat Narduzzi looked around at his troops. They looked shocked, like they didn't know how to act, so he rallied them up. He told me yesterday they all had looks on their faces like they knew they were about to get chewed out, but no. He said, gentlemen, it's the start of the fourth quarter. It's a party, not a funeral. Get up and dance. Have fun. And it has become quite a party.
And a big play to start this fourth quarter, Marty. Up the middle, there goes Logan. He's spun down after a short gain, so another big third down coming up here. Can Pitt get off the field on defense? Play by Price off the edge. Williams to throw. Strike over the middle, and it's deflected away, incomplete. Terrish Webb, who's been banged up with that ankle injury that kept him out last week, calling his name for the first time tonight to force fourth down.
Williams went to the right place, just threw a bad ball. Look how the receiver Switzer is coming inside and throw it to the front shoulder, and you have a conversion right there. Very well designed, but Williams just airmailed that one.
So they go back to Daly to punt this one. Maddox will wave this line drive out, and it's going to take an excellent bounce inside the 5-yard line. Brought the redshirt freshman back on for a career-long 56-yarder to pin Pitt deep. first place in the ACC Coastal up for grabs between Pitt and North Carolina. Long field after the outstanding punt by Corbin Daly. And there goes Chris James trying to squeeze forward for some cushion yardage. Hey, Doug. Aflac. Which ACC program has the most all-time victories? Our Aflac trivia question. And because Georgia Tech won and Virginia Tech lost, the two teams now tied.
There you go, right there.
At a Ruthian number at 7-14, Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech.
When we first showed that, you were talking about Duke. You were trying to lead people down the wrong path right there. I could see that coming.
Can't fool you, man. Can't fool you. Second down, 6. James got a good lead block that time from Jamar Parrish, and he got across the 15, got the first down to the 17-yard line. Sam Smiley finally there on the stop after an 8-yard run. What type of drive do you want to see from Pitt right now to get a point, get some points?
I think a typical Pitt drive, but they need to finish. Grind it out. Just like they're running the football, backed up situation. They have their big fullback. In this case, it's Parrish in there. But grind it out, but they got to get in the end zone. You know, that's the bottom line for them. They've been able to possess the football.
Yeah.
They just have not been able to finish.
They've had the ball for half an hour. 10 more minutes, but down 10 points. Fake the pitch to James. Pressure coming on Peterman, who runs out of time in real estate. Got chased towards the sideline by Mikey Bart, the junior out of Georgia.
And see, Adam, that's exactly where Pitt has issues. You know, they ran the ball successfully on a couple of drives, and then they play action pass and they get pressure on the quarterback. But the bottom line is nobody was open down the field. North Carolina is getting after Tyler Boyd, and nobody else is creating any space.
Aston in as a fullback in the eye. Boyd was in the slot. Peterman. Under pressure, Thomason chasing, and a dangerous floating pass that nearly got picked by M.J. Stewart. At J.P. Holtz in the area, and it brings up 3rd down and 10. And Kelly, you were talking about it on 1st down, on 2nd down. This is where you miss the ACC Offensive Player of the Year, torn MCL in the opener against Youngstown State. You could run with this guy in any down and distance, and he could get yardage for you.
Yeah, James Conner was simply that additional explosive player on the field for this team that they don't have right now. It's Tyler Boyd providing that, and they really haven't found it anywhere else outside of James Conner.
And a decent job on 3rd down tonight. North Carolina bringing just 4, and a leaping catch by Boyd, but a yard shy right in front of M.J. Stewart. 4th down coming up now. Inside at 10 to play, down 2 scores. Kind of deep in your own territory for a 4th down play.
Yeah, I think this needs to be a punt. You're exactly right. And M.J. Stewart does a nice job of letting Boyd run the route, but short of the line to gain, and then make a sure tackle. That is great defensive coverage on the back end for North Carolina.
And there is Switzer again. 2nd in the conference behind Braylon Cherry of North Carolina State. Yes! It's a fake punt. Fake punt for the 2nd consecutive week, and it's in the hands of the same man. Matt Galambos, the linebacker, one of the up men, trying to charge ahead forward. 2nd consecutive week that Pitt runs a fake punt. They did it against Syracuse in the 4th quarter last week.
And very well disguised. The punt team goes right out there, and it's snapped to the up back. There was no hesitation, seemingly, on Pat Narduzzi's desire to punt the football, but it was a fake all along.
Galambos had a 12-yard reception from Winslow last week on 4th down and 7 to keep a drive alive. Now a short run. Fresh set of downs for Peterman. Stepping up, and under pressure, he'll launch it away. The receiver in the area was Chris James, so no grounding penalty. 2nd down.
Maybe Matt Galambos is that other explosive offensive player if you get him out there.
You need somebody besides 23. Gene Chizik, how do you kind of synopsize Gene Chizik's performance calling the defense?
I think very good, and it's exactly what they've been doing all year. I mean, they're not complicated on the back end. They play the same front pretty much the entire time. Not a lot of pressure numbers coming into this game. They've been more successful tonight, but very well covered on the back end.
That's a pass officially to Boyd. It'll officially go down as a reception, but essentially a run play that picks up short yardage. Running into Jesse Rogers. Again, trying to get Tyler Boyd the football. He's got 10 catches tonight after a career-high 12 last week at Syracuse.
And your alpha receiver is valuable whether he's getting touches or not. He dictates coverage all over the field, but the problem is you don't have other guys creating space for the quarterback Peterman to go to.
And Dantes Ford's a big play guy, but he's been held in check to just 3 for 33 tonight. 3rd down and 10. Peterman. Well, he ran right into the safety, Donnie Miles. Miles did an excellent job of containing Peterman that time. Miles, who's had an 11 tackle and a forced fumble night tonight. This time it'll be 4th down and the punt unit comes on again. 4th down and 6. I've never seen 2 fake punts on one drive in my life. I don't know if we see it right now.
4th and 6 is just a bit different than 4th and 1.
Great punt by Winslow to help flip the field. Switzer grabs it at the 15, and Maddox, along with Pitts, both back there with good coverage. North Carolina with 7:21 to go, trying to get the upset over number 23 Pitt. First, Williams and the Tar Heels trying to move downfield, and there's Ryan Switzer. Grabbed by his jersey and swung down by Freeze Grigsby out across the 35-yard line. A big play to get him out of a hole deep in their own territory. 26-yard strike to Switzer.
And the avoidance by the pressure by Williams up front leads to the big play once again. And Williams extends so many plays by those subtle movements in the pocket.
4-man rush. Williams flushed out of the pocket, being chased. Lobs it upfield, and somehow it is caught by Kendrick Singleton. 1st down, North Carolina.
And Williams' athleticism once again keeping the play alive, and Singleton makes eye contact with his quarterback and then makes a play on the football.
22 yards for Singleton, making the big play to move the chains on 3rd and long. Hood brought down at the 40-yard line.
And Marquis Williams keeping the play alive, and look at Singleton right there. He sees the ball and the defensive back doesn't see it, and then he makes a play on it. A good job of finding out where your quarterback is, because remember, Williams was supposed to be in the pocket, was flushed to the right, and he found Singleton for a really big play, an important time.
The senior with just his 8th catch of the year on a team with so many big play wide receivers. That hybrid position can sometimes get lost. And there's Williams. You just said extended his plays with his feet. He uses his feet to get inside the 30 on another 1st down. Marquis Williams moving the chains again, 20 yards on that run. One of the most explosive rushers from the quarterback spot in ACC history.
And that was a design quarterback draw, anticipating the edge pressure from Pitt. But once again, what a weapon number 12 is.
Back up to Bryn Renner in 2013, became the starter in 2014. He's healthy. He's the healthiest he says he's been since his sophomore year of high school. He's been dealing with nagging injuries his entire college career. There is Hood banging off tackles, and he's got 9 strong yards to get to the 14-yard line. Jordan Whitehead on the stop.
I think when Williams really came into his own, not only does he have Hood carrying the load for him right there, but it's when he realized that he doesn't have to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yep.
He needs to be a distributor of the football to a lot of playmakers behind him, a very massive offensive line that's a very veteran bunch. And when he settled into that, he's been very, very sharp.
He's been able to lean on the running attack. Elijah Hood has officially hit 100 yards for the 5th time in his career. Go right back to him. Now he's under 100 yards as he gets banged down by Bam Bradley and KK Mosley-Smith. 3rd down coming up now. Does Pat Narduzzi want to use one of those timeouts? Yep, he will.
First charge timeout. Pittsburgh.
3rd down and 3. Pitt needs a stop to stay in this game. And they do get it here as Hood runs into a pile. And Pat Narduzzi will use his 2nd timeout to preserve as much time as possible. 2:59 to play. Again, a field goal try doesn't kill you at any point right now if you're Pittsburgh. 3 more points, it's still a 2-touchdown game. Weiler, 3 for 3 tonight. This one will be from 32 yards. and remains a 2-touchdown game. Moves up, I should say, really, to a 2-touchdown game. 26-13 to score, 2:56 to go.
Carolina 26, Pitt 13.
Maddox will save the time and take it out to the 25-yard line. No, here comes Pitt. Can Boyd get going? Can Dontez Ford do something? They need 2 touchdowns in a 3-minute stretch. That's a tall task for this particular Pitt offense. Meanwhile, North Carolina has brought the heat tonight. That's 5 sacks for the Tar Heels, and this time it's Rodgers off the edge with his first sack of the year after leading the team with 5.5 last year. Senior from Arlington, Texas, with a loss of 4 on the sack. Peterman stepping up downfield. There's Ford inside the 50-yard line. First time that Ford's had a big play this evening. 2:25 to play. A fresh set of downs. Clock moving to 1:40. Peterman's got all the real estate in the world in front of him. He's got to step out of bounds here if he wants to save the clock. Now the clock will stop as he works his way inside the 20. Now a career-long 28-yard run for Nate Peterman. He's had 2 long rushes tonight. They still have 1 timeout with which to work. They need a touchdown on this drive. They need 2 of them, as a matter of fact, to get back in this game. And the clock stops because inside of 2 minutes, when you step out of bounds, the clock remains stopped until the snap. That one incomplete. Looking to the outside for Jester Weah, who does not have a catch in his career. We'll pick that flag up. And Pat Narduzzi cannot be pleased with some of these flags that are thrown, not necessarily because that one got picked up, but some illegal formation stuff. That's sloppiness more than anything else, and he's a buttoned-up coach. Second down 10 to the end zone, and a great pass breakup by Des Lawrence. They were looking for Ford. That's the 3rd breakup of the night for Des Lawrence.
And Ford running the vertical, and Des Lawrence just makes such a good play at the very end. Tuck yourself in the hip pocket and then go make a play on the football. That's textbook right there by Des Lawrence.
7 pass breakups as a team for the Tar Heels tonight. No interceptions, but they've been right on it for the most part. Blitz coming from the Tar Heels. Peterman under pressure gets rid of it, incomplete. And now another penalty marker is thrown as Holtz was being covered by the linebacker Shaquille Rashad. Now another flag got thrown late
Pass interference.
as well.
Defense, number 42. The ball be placed in spot of the foul. First down.
Saw the back judge come in, toss a flag, but that apparently was not an additional penalty. That was the original ruling, but he did throw his flag a little later after Jeff Heiser was actually about to announce the penalty. So fresh set of downs, 1:17 to play. On the slant, Challingsworth brought down immediately after a pickup to the 6-yard line. Malik Simmons on the stop. Clock continues to move. Pitt will not use this timeout. Can't afford a penalty now, otherwise it's a runoff. Stepping up, Peterman to the back of the end zone, and it's broken up again. And it's Des Lawrence again with his 4th breakup of the night.
Yeah, Des Lawrence matched up on Ford once again in the back of the end zone. And watch the play on the football. This ball was behind Ford. If the ball's out front a little bit more and actually lower, throw that ball down around the knee and let your receiver go get it.
He's had 7 tackles on the night as well, has Lawrence. 1 of them for loss, and those 4 huge pass breakups. Touchdown time for Pitt if they want a chance at an onside kick. 3rd down 4. Peterman to the end zone, into a tight window, and it is caught by Scott Orndorff. It is a touchdown, his 4th of the season. The tight ends have 7 of the 11 receptions for touchdowns this year for Pitt, and they are still in this game, and they can make it a 6-point game with an extra point.
Great throw to a tight end is just put it right on his body. He's like a power forward getting a rebound. Put it on his frame, and it's very difficult for the defender to reach around and do anything with that.
Extra point, and it is off the upright, and it is no good. Chris Blewett, for the first time this year, misses a point after touchdown. Now again, it's still a 7-point game, so it's still a touchdown and extra point game. But had he made this and Pitt gets the ball back, then a touchdown and an extra point wins it for him. That's why this point is somewhat crucial right now, but it's not a killer.
Yeah, Blewett just pushed that from the beginning.
But Pat Narduzzi said, we're going to find out if we're for real this weekend in this game. Chris Blewett is going to have a very good kick. He has not had an onside kick attempt this season. And if Pitt wants to stay in it, they need the onside kick. If North Carolina recovers it, this ball game's over. Hands unit is out there for Pitt. A bounding ball, and it's grabbed by the Tar Heels. Quinshaw Davis, how appropriate. The guy who's caught more balls than anybody in North Carolina history, broke Hakeem Nicks's record tonight, is right there to scoop it up for the Heels.
And Blewett had this ball bouncing like you like to see, but Quinshaw Davis does a very good job of catching it in the right bounce. It's like fielding it as an infielder, and you want to catch it at the right time, and Davis does that.
And with this knee, first place in the Coastal Division in the ACC belongs to North Carolina. Big time plays for Ryan Switzer tonight. A couple of long touchdown grabs thrown by Marquis Williams, and a 26-19 victory for North Carolina, sitting by their lonesome at the top spot in the Coastal. Duke has Miami coming up this weekend to try to keep pace. 7. Larry Fedora, the head coach of North Carolina, is with Marty Smith.
Thank you, Adam. Larry, first place in the Coastal up for grabs. You guys come and take it. Define this victory. What's it mean?
Well, you go on the road and you come into Heinz Field and you play a really good Pitt team that was ranked. My hats are off to my guys. I mean, they played their rear ends off. We didn't play a clean game. We didn't play a perfect game, but we played good enough to win a football game.
One of Marquis Williams' greatest performances in a Tar Heel uniform. Graded. How did he do tonight?
Oh, he did a great job. He took care of the football, and that's what we needed to do to win.
You guys have Duke coming into Chapel Hill next week. How big a game is that one?
Oh, it's a huge one. You know, the great thing is we'll be able to let our guys get some recovery. Tough playing on a Thursday night, you know, after a tough battle on last Saturday. So it'll be nice for our guys to recover, and we'll be ready for it.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one, bud.
Thank you.
Adam.
Marty, thanks very much. Coming up next, college football scoreboard before Oregon and Arizona State. North Carolina comes away with the victory on the road. They are in first place in the ACC Coastal Division. For Kelly Stauffer, Marty Smith, our fantastic crew, Adam Amin, so long. Back to the studio.